Hello everyone. In today's video, this is what we shall be creating together, an FAQ accordion. So in this, once you click here, it opens and you click the other FAQ question. The other one that is open closes up. You open another one, the other one collapses. You open another one, also collapses. Then while it's open, you get this minus sign, and while this is closed, you get a plus sign. So with all that said, let's get into this actual creation of the accordion. So I have my VS Code open and we have an empty page. So let's just go right into it. So I'm going to call this FAQ container. That's what I'm going to call this. Then that's the container that will house everything. Then we are going to have the FAQ itself. Then inside the FAQ, I'm going to have an H3 FAQ title. That's what I'm going to call that. Then inside the FAQ title, I'm going to call this, okay, let's just do what is JavaScript. Just what is JavaScript. Then underneath the question, we're going to have FAQ content. Then I'll just do a lorem ipsum just to have this. So let's refresh. So we have this. Then I'm just going to copy and paste this several times. Maybe we just do like maybe 3 times. Then I'll just change this one to what is React.js or what is React. Then what is Vue.js. Just this is basically what we are going to do. Then I'll now move on to the CSS. I'll move on to the CSS. I think the CSS is already linked. I think so. It's already linked. Yep, it's already linked. So I'll just come to the CSS. I'll do a CSS reset, or rather I'll just, do just basic resetting. So I'll call this before, call this after. Okay, then we have box sizing, border box, set the margin and the padding to 0. Once this is done, I'll go to the body. I'll create a background color for the body. So I'll use ROG. Let me just use a color magenta. Then I will just pretty much change it to what I want. Okay, for the background. So I have this. So this is what we have. Then I'll do maybe font size or so. I'll just call it 16 pixels, which is the default already. So there won't be any need for that. So I'll just use Lucida. So for now, this will be our font. This will be our font. So I'll move into the FAQ, which is the FAQ container. So I'll do FAQ. Let me do this. FAQ container area. So I'm going to do FAQ container. Okay. So first and foremost, I'll do a margin 0 auto. Create a width of 70%, so it stays in the middle. I also want to bring it down, so I'll do height of 100 VH, viewport height. I'll use display flex direction, columns. I'll do justify content center, align item center. So we have everything in the middle. Now the next thing I want to do is, if you look at each of the areas is an FAQ area. So what I'll do is I will do FAQ. You see FAQ or FAQs? FAQs singular. I'll just do not last child. Then I'll do margin bottom. So maybe 0.775 rem or so. So there will be that separation. Okay, let me do 1 rem and see what happens. Okay, let's leave it at 1 rem. So this is what we want for now. Now the FAQs will now have a background color. So I'll do a background color of okay, let's look at what color did we use in, oh, it's actually a purple. Okay, we can go back to our body color and just change this to purple. You look a little bit darker. Yep. So we can now do a background color of the same purple, but now a lighter version of it. Okay. So I'll just cancel this, paste, then we'll look for the lighter version of this. Let's say somewhere around here. Okay, we have this like this. Then we'll add a little bit of padding. I'm just doing this on the fly. I'm not following what I did earlier. So, but just to tell you what we're doing. So I'll do this. Then we can have border radius. So border radius we can do maybe 0.5 rem. Okay, this is nice, it's okay. Then we'll go now. The content area is FAQ, or rather FAQ content. Then we'll do maximum height 0. It goes like this, maximum height 0. We do overflow hidden. Now this padding for the FAQ is a little bit small. Maybe you should increase it a little bit. Okay, can do okay, let's leave it like this. Overflow hidden. I can do opacity 0. What does it go? Visibility hidden. So let's leave it for now this way. So we already have all this. Then let's go. So we have FAQ title. FAQ title. So we could do FAQ title. So we'll do position relative. Then we can now use the after. So we have our content empty. So we can do font family. Since we're using font awesome, so it's going to be like font awesome. So inside the empty content, we can now do this F067. I hope I'm correct. So we have the plus sign there. Then we have the position absolute. Top 0. Then we'll now do right 0. So it jumps to the right there. So we have that. We can decide to increase excuse me, the font size of the icon. So we could do 1.35 rem. See, it's not big enough. 1. Okay, we could do 2. And now adjust the top. We can do 0.5 rem. Can do Right, like I said earlier, I'm just doing this on the, I'm not following what the values I use in the other one. I'm going to be changing things up, you know, so that you see that I'm not cramming anything. I'm just going as we go, as we go, as we go. If it looks nice, I leave. If it doesn't look nice, I try to do some tweaking to it. So let's continue. So we have all these, yes. Now we are also now going to add, it's going to now be for when you click, what now happens for it to come down. So we have the FAQs itself dot, we can now do maybe show, we can call it show content, then the FAQ content. So we do it like this. Then we'll now say this, that means on click, what will happen is that we'll now have maximum height, go by, let's say 500 pixels. We can do opacity to 1. Then we'll now do visibility to visible. So, right? That's for now. If there's another change we are going to make, we'll come back here and begin to tweak. So now let's move to JavaScript. So we know our JavaScript is also connected. It's also connected. So let's move to JavaScript and let's do const. Now we are doing const on the FAQs, the parent container. So FAQs equals to documents dot query selector all. Then we'll now reference the container. So we'll now call it FAQs. That is basically. Then we now need to loop through it. So to loop through it, I'm going to do two things. The first one, we're going to do the regular way. Then the second one, I'm going to do what I did. So FAQs dot for each. For each, so we are going to have FAQ, right? So we have this. Sorry. Then we'll come down. Then we'll now FAQ dot add event listener dot on click. What happened there? I guess I was in a hurry. Then we do this. Okay. Then we now do the FAQ dot class list dot toggle. Right? So we now have the show content. So when you collapses, so as you click, you have this. So both everything will open at the same time. Right? So let's change our cursor on the FAQ. The FAQ tied to cursor pointer. So we have it as pointer. So you have this, everything will collapse. So nothing drops, everything will just collapse, you know, all this kind of stuff. So let's go back to our JavaScript. Now, this is basically not what we actually want to do. So I'll just, okay, let me just disable, comment this out. So I'll just come below it and I'll say, let's do another const and say FAQ opened, something like this. We'll now do FAQ dot class list dot contains. If it now contains this show content, so this basically, then what we'll now do again is we now reloop it again. We'll now do a relooping a second time. We'll go back to the original and do for each, for each. We'll now do the FAQ. Say FAQ dot class list dot remove. Now you are removing the class. You are removing the class that we originally did. So that's basically we are removing the entire class. So it's now removed. So that's what causes it that when you click to open another FAQ, the other opens up or closes. Why this opens, the other closes. Why this closes, the other opens. So then we'll now come to if FAQ is not opened, then FAQ dot class list dot toggle, right? So we're going to do show content. So now let's see if this works. Okay, we have this closes, collapses. So you see that we've not really done any animation or any listing to it. So let's now begin. Let's go back to our CSS. That's where most of this work will be coming from now. So the first thing we want to do is, if you look at this, the paragraph, I don't know if there's a paragraph there. Okay, there's no paragraph. Okay, let's go into it and say, let's see if padding will work. If not, we'll look for another method. Okay, so it's pulling this away. So what I can do here is to create like a paragraph inside. So I'll just cut all this out, put them into a paragraph, then copy and paste. Copy and paste. I made the last spot. Okay. Then copy and paste to here. So we have it as paragraph. Then I'll go back to the style, FA content, paragraph. Then the paragraph is where we're going to do the padding. So we can just do 0.5 something, so it doesn't affect it, right? So we have this. I can increase the padding. Okay, I can do the padding to be this. I can increase this to be 7. So we have this. We'll come back to transition. Now let's come back to this. So we now say FAQ. Let me just copy what I have here and paste here, right? Then in this place, I will now have, instead of the FA content, it will now be FA title. After, then we just do content. So it's now be F00D. So let's see, okay? So it now closes. Hey, closes. So you get this. So now we can now come back and see if we can now add transition to it. Okay, from where there is this collapse. Okay, this is the content that collapse. So we can just add a transition on max transition. Let's do transition property. So transition property on max height, transition on opacity, then transition on visibility. Then we can now do transition duration 0.3 seconds, then transition timing function. So we have easing out. So let's see how it works. So you can see the transition is going. So we can transform, rotate, so 360 degree. We can now do transition. The transition will be on the transform, 0.3 seconds, easing and out. So let's do that again now. When you now collapse, you rotate. I don't know if you can see it, because it's pretty fast. Okay, so this is pretty much how you do an accordion using in HTML, CSS with JavaScript. So if you find any value in this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.